Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Callum.
Hello.
UmbraCoffee episode 227.
Wow.
How are we? How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm coping. I'm all right. I won't
Surviving,
get into
surviving.
everything, but yeah, this week's been hell. How's
Yeah,
your
and
week?
of course we will be talking about it because a lot of things happened, a lot of things are still happening. There is a lot of planning, a lot of preparations, a lot of things generally.
Mm.
But we also know that a lot of our friends from Denmark and other countries had some days off this week. Some of them are also taking the day off today to have a long weekend. So everyone who is with us today, thanks for being here. And we will be, of course, discussing Umbraco news from this week and, of course, anything what is happening next. And yeah, it was an interesting week. We can probably start from product update because it highlights a lot of interesting things. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, it works. So yeah, Rune shirt, the product update on May 25th, and of course we can go through the overview because the links will be as usually included in our video description, and you can explore it on your own. But Umbraco 10 RC4, and I don't know if it was something what I saw or didn't see. There was some RC5 mentioned somewhere,
I
and
suspect there will be. We're still a good
yeah,
3 weeks away from an
yeah,
actual main release, and people are still finding some issues. I know that, for example, Matt has been saying on Twitter there's a few things that were broken in this release that make it really difficult for him to make, say, vendor work with V9 and V10. So
yeah.
there's definitely still some PRs going in, and I'll have to say it's impressive that we've got 4 RCs. We maybe have an RC2 if the RC1 gets screwed up a bit, but for a major release, having 4, 5, 6 maybe RCs, one a week, kind of makes sense. So yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, we spoke about it internally in the team. Is it something like maybe the cost of release decreased, and it's easier to just roll it out and let everyone play with it and explore the next issues because yeah, as you've mentioned, the number of RCs is high, but it's good. It means like we whoever joins the fun now has less problems and issues on the way. So
It's
yeah,
an interesting one. You could argue, oh, if there's 50 release candidates for something, it's indicative of poor quality. But in this case, if you look at the changes, in fact, we've got a link coming up about it where we can take a peek at what's been changed between each of the RC versions. It's very small. It's minimal. It's more about getting things in people's hands and ironing these things out. So I think you're right, Martin. It is a reduced cost in releasing, and it means that we all get much more stable software as a result. And it's kind of similar to how Umbraco's been doing things, isn't it? We're pushing forward pretty rapidly. We've got new versions coming all the time now.
yeah. And of course, we will end the RC's period with the final release of version 10 on June 16th, which is not that far away in time. And yeah, that's amazing because then we will be able to officially use it, and there won't be anything unclear then. So yeah, so that's also what covers the another list on this mini agenda. What is the release of Umbraco Forms 10 and Umbraco Deploy 10 that are complementary packages and extensions of the ecosystem, and of course release candidates are available as well to be used and played and broken to be fixed again. So they are also releasing on the June 16th. So the whole ecosystem and the basics of it will work and operate then. And the next one is about cloud, something what we've been talking about,
Wondering
right?
when we'd be able to talk about this one, because I
Yeah.
saw a sneak peek of this over a year ago when Morten and Rasmus kind of said, "Oh, we're going to be moving towards having like a modern architecture with Azure Web Apps, all that sort of stuff, and Cloudflare in front of it, and we want to give you the ability to control lots of the things that Cloudflare lets you do." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then it never happened, and now it's here. So you can, basically turn the CDN straight on, Cloudflare CDN straight on from the portal in Umbraco Cloud, which means we don't have to worry about putting our own Cloudflare instance in front of it, which causes all kinds of problems if you've tried that before. This is way easier to enable.
Yeah, and also whenever we've been discussing it on one of the meetups recently, it was like this is the entry point. Some settings will be there right now, but it's a lot easier now to expose more of them. And I think here, maybe in behalf of the cloud team and in general Umbraco team, I would ask to really shoot out if there are any settings or anything what might be worth to be under control from here, because that's probably, it will help in prioritizing stuff on the roadmap in the team's side. And I still have a kind of list of ideas and things that I would love to control. So everyone can shoot out.
There is
to
a
Umbraco.
surprising amount of things that you can do now in the cloud back office, in the
yeah.
cloud portal, to the point where the navigation is going to need a bit of a rethink and a rework at some point, because there's too many options, in my opinion. But even stuff that we had to try and work around previously, like the inability to store a certificate locally on the server that you could use for authentication stuff, you could now do all of that. And it's slowly becoming bigger and bigger. I have to say as well, we were talking about release cadence a minute ago, but the cloud portal is seeing similar sort of cadence. The UUI is being used actively in the cloud portal now. You'll notice that all of the kind of success messages and states are there. And I'll admit, it's a bit buggy. There's some issues. I raised an issue Friday where I was unable to remove an IP address from a firewall due to a JavaScript bug. By Monday morning, a fix was rolled out and pushed, and it works. So that's, credit to the processes that have made that possible.
Yeah, and that's exactly what excites a lot of users, because not only changes behind the scenes, but also exposing it for the end users and fixing them, because it's still a product, it's still a tool, it's still a software that is attached to that. So a lot of it will probably come over in time. Speaking about products, we also had a new release of Umbraco 8, version 18.4. So patch with some bug fixes and some things ported back from Umbraco 9. And yeah, again, I recently spotted a couple of the projects running on Umbraco 8.2. And it was something what we planned to upgrade, and now seeing it as well as a new release, it's making a lot of users and clients happier, because still there's a list of fixes between of even these releases is extremely huge.
Well, we spoke about this 8.18.4 last week, and my absolute highlight is the fact that JSON.NET upper limit has been removed. And we've upgraded a bunch of sites in the past week or so to 8.18.4. Works great.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. Definitely upgrade if you still are operating on Umbraco 8 version. This is the highlight of back office community team. We probably can expect some of the updates from the team's work on Code Garden. That is, of course, the kind of synchronization point. And here the newly reformed, as it said here, team is definitely very busy in doing some crazy work out there. So yeah, that's kind of refreshed information about the team. We were discussing it before, and there was a blog post attached to that. And roadmap at the end of the post, updates to roadmap. I don't know why it's not scrolling, but probably most of it we've mentioned, right? The block list grid editor in being new in Next, and some other things.
We were told we got an inside scoop about the roadmap, I think, unless this was told to us on UmbraCoffee last week, but I'm pretty sure it was told to us privately, which is about the roadmap is going to have filters at some point, so you'll be able to filter by product area. And so that's also hopefully going to fix the issue of the roadmap being too long to for the website to handle. But yeah, it would be really nice. And someone I think asked to be able to deep link to different items on the roadmap too, and that's also coming, which is awesome, because that will make my job on UmbraCoffee way easier when I finally like how can I link to that.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's exciting around the roadmap, and we've talked about most of these things already. We've mentioned Code Garden, so let's check. Is it Code Garden yet? And of course, it's 18 days. Damn it!
18 days, so literally 3 weeks. In 3 weeks' time, it'll be all over.
Oh yeah, and we will be summarizing it,
and then that's it.
That's true. Yeah.
In fact, something that I completely missed from the links this week, Marcin, which is a total screw up on my part, but we need to talk about it. It's really important. Code Garden workshops. They came out this week. Finally, for the first time in, like, we've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks. Arnold's been telling us, next week, for like a month. The workshops are here. The signups are available. Maybe if we can pull the Code Garden site up, we can have a look. I know that my team was all there, like at 1 p.m. UK time on Wednesday when the signups were opened to go and sign up. I know a load of people have been saying they have been interested too. There's 4 workshops. One of them is a Docker and containers workshop on Umbraco ran by Carl and Purnima. The other is a e-commerce-ish workshop, integrating kind of e-commerce behavior into an Umbraco site. More of an integrations one. It's being run by Umbraco HQ, and they'll be talking about basically how you do certain integrations. Stripe and Twitter integrations workshop. A little bit weird. I'm not quite sure. The other one is a UUI workshop, getting up and running with the Umbraco back office UUI, building your own custom web components as well. This one looks quite interesting. And then the final one looks really hardcore and really interesting. And it's defending against JSON deserialization attacks. I mean, if you want a hint into how hardcore this is, if you look at the requirements, you have to turn up with like a bunch of virtualization software and things. It's not incredibly difficult to get all that set up, but I think it's going to be intense.
Getting 100 gigabytes of free space might be tough for a lot of people.
But I'm assuming because they're going to probably give people virtual machines to spin up. By the looks of it, those are going to be big. But yeah, exciting. And I'll be running a 5th workshop in the pub if anyone would like to come.
I'm excited about this one as well. But yeah, what I wanted to highlight here is like in-person part of the events plus live demos. And we are all learning how to not only run but participate in the hybrid events. And this is exactly kudos to organizers here that even the workshops part has this virtual demo part of it, and it will be in some of the workshops like 1.5 hour long for 100 people online, still limited to make probably it more like an interactive and discuss and also open for the discussions. So yeah, that's exciting, and not all of them has it, so keep an eye on that. And of course we'll attach this link to the video description because that was also announced this week.
The spots are incredibly limited, and so if I don't know how many Code Garden tickets have been sold, but I know in previous years there's been hundreds and hundreds of tickets. I think it's smaller this year because I know a lot of people, lots of our US friends and Australian friends, whatever, can't really make it over. But 40-ish seats per in-person workshop, they'll sell out pretty quickly. Definitely sell out pretty quickly. So go sign up. There will be a link down there in the description.
Yeah, and if we're talking about seats and places, we want to remind us all that the in-person ticket sales closes at June 1st, and at midnight, what means that we don't know.
We were having a bit of a rant about this. This is why we were late starting today. I was complaining about what does midnight on June the 1st mean, because in my vocabulary, midnight on June the 1st means the latest you could buy a ticket would be on the 30th of June at 11:59 p.m. Yep. But I see marketing people love to use midnight as end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
End of the day, which is not midnight on June the 1st. That's June the 2nd. So maybe someone from HQ could clarify, when do ticket sales actually end? My example idea would be if your flight is at midnight on June the 1st and you turn up at 11 o'clock p.m. on June the 1st, your flight will have gone 23 hours earlier, I think.
Yes, that's correct, and that's also how I understood it. And generally, it's the same trick with this all the time. So clarification will be great, and we will definitely make this clarification also in the description. But yeah, I would usually use just 11:59 just to be safe.
To be safe. I mean, you don't want to get caught short, do you? If you really want to go to Code Garden in person, ticket sales literally end in a week.
Buy it now.
Less than a week, 5 days. Go buy a ticket. Yeah. You can still buy the in-person ones. The online ones, I think, up to more or less the date. But yeah, you really want to secure those tickets. Flights are looking nice and expensive from London at the minute now because, well, airlines have screwed a few things up, but flights are getting difficult. Hotel capacity is going to be running out. If you're going to come, you want to get it sorted soon. Only 3 weeks to go.
That's true. And there are some activities already attached to the event. We want to mention one of them described this week. It's a Code Garden Challenge. And there is an option to win an Umbraco hoodie and taking some kind of shootout probably during the event itself as well. And the challenge is to recreate the logo, heart logo with anything, basically. So that's for the creators, for the creative people, for anyone. I believe for our kids as well. Some good challenge and good exercise to make it recreate it, and of course create some kind of nice visibility and nice communication outside of the ecosystem, because the submission is to do it, take some picture of it, and of course tweet it with specific hashtags to let it be recognized on the Twitter sphere. So only entries submitted by Code Garden ticket holders are considered. That's also interesting.
I saw already Matt Brailsford shared a very lovely thing that he made for Niels actually at the end of last year, which is like a nice wooden, like the Code Garden logo, the heart, carved out of wood, and it beautifully polished and everything. I mean, that's, of course,
might be high level to beat, right? Might be tough.
Oh yeah.
But you can win a hoodie, and if you won't win, and if you still want to look at Umbraco logos, there's something exciting what wasn't announced anywhere yet. Are
we allowed to talk about this, Marcin, or are you expecting an axe in the post like I got?
I'm just envy for this axe, to be honest.
It's a really nice axe. It's a really nice axe.
Yes, we are allowed. We are allowed, but axe is still more than welcome if it will pass the custom control. I'm moving to my home. The axe is always more than welcome. But that's something exciting what we want to talk about, and it's Umbraco swag shop that was discussed, mentioned, worked on for a long time, and it's here already. So the hoodies are up, the mugs, t-shirts, hats. Babies onesies that I'm very in love of. We can't buy Umbraco MVP award. They are sold out, so I assume they're literally given away already. But there are some stickers and various other products to be bought here. Bingo set as well, but still sold out. So yeah, exciting things, and yeah, I had a pleasure to test the shop before I clicked through. I checked the products, so yeah, it works. It has an option to buy it, so everyone can use it now. And right now, probably Umbraco team is expecting some traffic on the website, so keep them busy.
It's a vendor powered
web
Umbraco e-commerce store with marketing suite and a couple other things on there. And I was talking with Warren earlier this week, and he says that they're maintaining it internally, and they're going to add some features and maybe some kind of like cool discounts or free items that you can unlock for certain community activities. Maybe the Hacktoberfest t-shirts will be requestable through here in future, that sort of thing. So it's great to see it out there, and also great that last week I didn't spoil anything when we were talking about merch, and I said, I've seen some of the things that are available, like the hat, for example, and I didn't spoil it, so that's good.
But
yeah,
we are improving.
It's really exciting.
But yeah, I really like the kind of way also of promoting the partners like Remarketing Suite and vendor, as you've mentioned. It's just a great proof that this can be used in combination. This can be very helpful for running e-commerce. Plus, from the as you've said, also from Umbraco perspective, the deliverabilities to people across the globe are just right now open, so everything can be hidden behind the paywall now. So whatever will need to kind of distribution or anything like that can be done through the store now. Really exciting. I really like
really nice stock availability on here as well, so you can see what you can actually get and if it's available, and a whole bunch of other things. It's very cool. We were talking last week, Marcin, about merch and swag, weren't we? And
Yes.
we want to bring some exciting umbraCoffee swag back at some point. But you're absolutely right. My experience of the Code Garden hoodies in the past is they shrink when you wash them, like quite a lot. And I know I've got fat, but they do shrink. I would really love to see. I would really love to see a zip up Code Garden hoodie again. I don't wear the big like. I like to be able to unzip and things. I'd love to see one of those. Maybe we'll see some other merch at Code Garden, or maybe this is all the swag store now. Maybe we're gonna have like a fashion label, seasons. Maybe they're gonna have the winter season, and we get different items then. I don't know. I don't suppose they're doing this full time as like a business, are they?
Side business. No, but as you've said, there right now it might be the milestone achieved. And let's maybe think about some new product types, rounds, versions, variants, etc., etc. So if as a community we'll be interested in many other products, we need to reach out. We need to make it kind of as a contribution guided collaboration. But as usual, Umbraco is also preparing some things to be distributed on Code Garden, and we can see if it's all, or maybe there will be something more.
I have to say, the Umbraco mugs are not as high quality as the umbraCoffee ones.
I don't have one.
Oh, right. So look, I've got mine here. Of course, it's a nice chunky mug with like decent handle. It's a decent depth. The Umbraco ones are a bit thinner, a bit. Yeah. If you want an umbraCoffee mug, high quality mug, you have to come and speak to us.
Hashtag mug competition, Muggate. But that's exactly to be compared, and we've seen this mugs on some of the Umbraco events, right? So we kind of expected them coming, but they are right now here.
I've got one.
Cool. Last thing about Code Garden, for those people who might not go and participate in the live event, one of the community members, Owen, decided to run something different in relation to his secret Lego project, and always Lego mini figures representing some of the Umbraco activities. And there will be secret stage run by Owen, where everyone can join with the minifigures of them. And there is a GitHub website, Owen Williams GitHub.io, secret stage at Garden with a list of participants. Everyone can contribute. Full requests are more than welcome there. So there's a lot of activity around that, and for everyone who's interested in having part in this kind of game, fun, do it. Just do it. And of course, we will include the link to it in the comments. We've mentioned version 10. So we can probably skip it. Besides mentioning a lot of great, useful fixes in the recent RC. What else we have? We have some packages and releases from the community. We've mentioned vendor already a couple of times today, but Matt also teased us that there are some PRs to be done to the core, and then vendor might be already working on version 10 of Umbraco. That is really
it's mostly working, but with a couple of things that aren't quite right. So the goal here, we had a good chat with Matt earlier this week about what the plan is, and with vendor v3, which of course was announced last week, the idea is for that to be the decoupling from Umbraco, and there'll be some breaking changes involved, but Matt's not in a rush to do that. So it's not like v3 will be released for v10. It could be a lot later. It could be shortly after. It will just be a bunch of breaking changes. So the goal is to get vendor v2 running on 8, 9, and 10 simultaneously. And there was some debate on Twitter this week about at what point is it acceptable for a package to bump its minimum required version? Because something like vendor, where you're probably typically the majors have been tied to specific major versions of Umbraco. But as Umbraco evolves, some majors will have no breaking changes in them. Some will have lots in them that affect your package, and it will really depend. And for me, when I made all of my V9 packages, I set my maximum version as 10. So they're tied to 9. But if there's no breaking changes, I can just lift that number. But I'm wondering, are people expecting new majors for a new major version of a package for every major version of Umbraco? Or is it going to be okay to have things that span maybe like 11.2, and then actually, if you want 11.3 support, you need to bump to our next major version? It's going to be interesting. We're going to have this disconnect between versioning now.
And of course, if anyone watching has any opinion, share it. I was just thinking right now that YouTube should have a poll functionality just built in to.
I can't remember how you do it.
No. Just participate live. Yeah, what is your opinion? ABCD done. That would be really useful. But yeah, I was also thinking about the same thing, because still it's a lot about expectations. Second thing is maintenance behind the scenes, because it also requires time if you want to align to any expectations, even if it's your own expectations. So it's interesting topic, and releasing numbering control of that is tough. We all know that. So share your opinion if you have anything to add, and help also people in the community decide maybe on some steps in the future. So yeah, that's really exciting release and information shared by Matt. And Matt also shared another one demo with the community, which is Construct demo. So it's a successor of many packages, but previously the fluidity, of course, for that we knew in the past, but also with a lot of other great features possible, also thanks to the new infrastructure and frameworks behind the scene, simplified, a lot of great teases and information shared by Matt on Twitter.
This is just Construct V1, but running on 10. So it's there's some updates that have been made to make it continue to work on 10. And Matt wants a bit of feedback. Someone to go try it out if you'd like, and the demo store is a great way of doing that. You don't have to have a license or anything to get it running. It's all licensed already.
Yeah, again, and that's exciting, because we can also see how to use it, how to work it out, basically. So great stuff, and I'm looking forward to really play around with that, because that's one of the packages that I used in the past a lot. Another one that we use almost everywhere is the Skybrad's redirects package that was mentioned regularly.
Last week we were talking about what are the things that we need to be able to build a site, and I say it's usync and Skybrid redirects. So it's fantastic. We've got an alpha of this for V10 as well.
And as all the previous releases, alphas, betas, we still we are still kind of happy and satisfied usually with all the releases from Anders and the team at Skybrad and Limbo after the renames. So looking forward to test it out, and it is here. So yeah, we can definitely use it. Another interesting one migration to Umbraco 10 is Sebastian's RingFire package. I don't know, Callum, if you use it, and did you see a lot of implementations of it? But I had a pleasure to see some of them already bundled here, and it says really RingFire is a massively and used and very great extension of .NET, basically. And here it's bundled with an Umbraco dashboarding, so it's already there. We can use it, we can see it, we can manage the RingFire jobs from the Umbraco back office, and yeah, it's migrated to Umbraco 10. So Umbraco 10 can also benefit from Umbraco 10
implementation. Has a dashboard that you can register a route and say this is where it lives, and in this case Seb's kind of wired it up to be secured, back office auth, and appearing in the back office, which is nice. We have a couple of sites that have been using it. It's not something we actively use because I've got strong opinions about scheduled tasks and those sorts of things that shouldn't be run within the website. But that's for another day. So yeah, it's a very useful, very, very useful implementation for those that want to do that.
And still, RingFire was very heavily used by community members, and I see a lot of excitement already about it, because it's also ready for Umbraco 10, so everyone should be happy. Another one is from Nick, and it's his page not found manager with upgraded version with some fix around UI. So for those who use the page not found manager information, there is new version with some fixes. Update and use it. And for those who didn't use it, check it out if you maybe need it for some of your projects. And last but not least, Callum, it's from you, and then from
A whole
from
4
Megan.
versions of Meganav this week because I fixed a bunch of bugs and broke more things by fixing those bugs, and so I had to release some updates last night as well. But yeah, load of bug fixes for Meganav for V8 and V9, V2, V202, V203, V302, V303. All of those are.
And you had some support from the community members, as you mentioned here on this releasing. So great to see it. And yeah, I don't know if you track the number of downloads on NuGet, how many of them are still happening, but I'm sure that people who use the package will benefit from the fixes included here as well.
People clearly, because I released the O2 version, and within 24 hours, someone went, "Hey, this has broken something quite major." So people are using it and upgrading it, which is nice to see.
Nice. So this is from the releases perspective, and some other things to be mentioned. Ken Jacobson shared some explorations that he has done on the new concept for reusable content. And it looks interesting. It's like and again, there was some questions in the Twitter threads about how it works, how it can be extended. Is it a proper use of reusable blocks? Is it a wrapper of something? So yeah, it's interesting because it looks like it's an infinite editing for reusable blocks. That's how I see it.
So I mean, I think in this case, they are all just content items still.
Yeah. In reusable items repository,
in that repository, but it's something that the CMS is crying out for, isn't it? We need some form of reusability there, and of course, when those conversations around how the block list editor is, when the block list editor came to be, that was like a primary thing, but it does require a bit more of a rework and some underlying changes in Umbraco to make it work as nice as we want. But yeah, it's good to see the community experimenting and innovating, because we can then kind of learn all the lessons that work, what works, what doesn't work, what do people like, how do people want to work with it first, and then do something rather than just coming up with an idea and making everyone live with it for a few years and rebuilding it a bit further down the line.
But here, what excites me the most is like also this is a multi-node tree picker evolution, something because usually we use the multi-node tree picker for it to just point to the specific folder or a parent of the collection, and here we have two. We have a wrapper around the multi-node tree picker here, plus we have an option to create items on the fly. So I think editors will be very, very happy from it, because they will be they won't need to go to Umbraco content to create item to then be selected. So it's another shortcut in their work that excites me the most, to be honest here. Good stuff. So Kenneth, continue and share whatever you will find out on the way, because it looks really, really useful. And something what you've been participating in also is and we didn't include the link to the build news book. Maybe we need to have.
I mean, but it's hundreds of pages. There's so much stuff that was announced. Great things around like container apps, if people are interested in hosting containers on Azure. Some fantastic announcements about GitHub and general availability of certain services. Some really cool ideas of, well, there's this one thing called DevBox, which I think is code spaces, but on a VM where you can have a bit more control. So it's more for enterprises, but it's an interesting idea. And another one where they've effectively built a dev kit, a little box with an ARM chip in it that comes with Windows ARM, Visual Studio for ARM, and you can then chain them together to build like a really powerful PC. And I think it's kind of optimized for doing AI, machine learning development, but it's something that's coming later this year. It feels like Microsoft are kind of going the way of Apple, where they're trying to maybe make their own chips for optimized for specific dev workflows. So yeah, later this year they'll be announcing or releasing these little boxes. It'd be kind of interesting to see.
Sounds interesting. And there is a book of news. That's something what I always refer to, and I will copy and include this link to the description, because it highlights all of the things that were announced on various areas of the Microsoft ecosystem. But yeah, it was good to see so many great and familiar faces together on various events, and people sharing a lot of great stuff from even the live stream that was watched by many. So yeah, exciting things, and of course we will be slowly seeing it across Umbraco implementations, Azure platforms, and everything basically, because that's how adoption looks like usually. So that's definitely to see and observe. So that's great. And next is there's a lot of highlights from this event. From Andy,
just got
Emma,
there's a nice number of Umbraco people there. Punima did a session, so this is us taking a photo with Punima, obviously on from a distance.
Yeah,
but it was good food, good to chat with people. I don't think we went to all that many sessions. It was more of a kind of a social thing, but it was good.
Nice. Yeah. Really nice, and we all missed that. So probably any opportunity is great opportunity to do that. The next on our list is a post titled really interestingly, because it's what do the developers think of Umbraco 10, and I think it relates to also the role that Emma also started recently in Umbraco HQ, and it's a collection of the feedback from many of the people who were sharing the journeys of using Umbraco 10. And I think there is still room for sharing some feedback, and of course Umbraco 10 will be released soon, so it's not even released. This is RC adoption, and there's a lot of great feedback existing already. So I kind of like this phase, and of course we I don't know, we always thought of Umbraco as a developer-friendly platform as well, right? So I think it's still like this. I had the pleasure, or not the huge pleasure, of using some other CMSs this week. It was I won't be naming them, correct? to not point to any directions, but I love Umbraco, and still it's like the level of let's say even problems, issues, bugs, however we'll name them, is completely acceptable in comparison with a lot of other CMSs that our people working with. So our experience, our developers' experience is really, really high, even though sometimes we think like it's not that high because
when you're used to like something that gets more polished or more perfect, then when it's not perfect for a bit, it's like,
but then you find out something else that doesn't work on even this most polished platform, and then you are back on track. So it probably right now it's all about acknowledging that we are developers, we use software, we build software, we break software as well. So and again, it's all software what we use, but what we think is extremely important, and I think sharing it is also important for the software creators. So this was great to see all of it, and Bushra from your team as well shared some great highlights here on the journey, right, from improvements and upgrade paths of Umbraco. So share your feedback and read other people's feedback, and let Emma and the rest of the team know how you feel about using Umbraco 10 and beyond. And last but not least, something from Corne, and the most recent blog post about his explorations of Umbraco-powered Discord bot. So and that got open sourced today or yesterday?
Yeah, today. I think it was this morning.
Yeah, today. He mentioned that he will open source it tomorrow, and I was just curious if it was tomorrow, yesterday, or today, because week flies. And here it's great to see. Again, I don't know, Callum, you are not probably like not a heavy Discord user, or not a Discord user at all. You probably don't know. There is a lot of powers in Discord, and it was such an easy to build Discord bots in .NET. That a lot of people from my circles were building this kind of bots for crypto discords, community discords, etc., etc. And here it's like Umbraco powered extension and integration with it. So I really like it, and I'm curious of how Corne built it, and I will definitely take a look on this code.
There is something to be said for the developer friendliness of Discord. I think that's it's very cool that it's that pluggable. I know we built Slack bots in the past, and it was fine. It wasn't the most friendly experience, but it does look like it's quite easy to get started here. Even yesterday, someone in the team pointed out you can change the Slack notification, which by default is like a knock knock noise. You can change it to this clip of a woman saying hummus. So it just says hummus every time you get a notification. and then we were playing around with it to see if we could put like a custom one into Slack, so that it's not possible. But then people were hacking around like within the temp files of the Slack application to see if we could replace this MP3 to make it say something else. But yeah, it would be nice if Slack was that pluggable.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people who were literally playing with Discord just because it was so easy to use .NET skills to create these bots, and Discord was very, very relying on the bots. Still, I don't know how many of them are in use, for example, even in Umbraco Discord, because I haven't also been involved too much in Discord recently. But it's great to see this kind of explorations that are happening, and everything that proves that Umbraco can be used as a source of data for whatever else is on the other side is great use case for us all. So yeah, thanks Corner for sharing it and making it open source, because we can check how complex or maybe how easy also it is to create something like that. And that's all from our list for today. So yeah, that's another packed list of news at the end of the day.
Definitely.
18 days till Code Garden. A lot of releases to happen, a lot of preparation to happen. We have some orders on the way as well to our side. Exciting things, and it's not that far away in time. So again, keep us busy with anything what else will pop out in the meantime, and we'll, as usually, catch up on the next Friday to discuss that all together. Cool. So thanks everyone. Thanks, Callum. Have a great weekend and the rest of the day today, everyone.
I will. And you, Marcin. Have a great week, everyone.